Chapter 6 Democracy Notes and Summary from Grade 9 Subject Social Science Part 1 Introduction Democracy is a form of government in which the source of power and authority lies with the citizens. People elect their representatives through free and fair elections. Democracy is based on the principles of freedom, equality, justice, rights, duties, and public participation. India is the world's largest democracy. In 2024, India had a population of over 140 crore and a voter base of over 96.8 crore. This makes India the largest example of participatory democracy, where people choose their government through elections. The Constitution of India plays a very important role in democracy. It protects the rights of citizens and ensures that no citizen is discriminated against on the basis of religion, race, caste, sex, or place of birth. The Constitution was adopted on 26 November 1949 and came into force on 26 January 1950. Next, tracing democratic traditions from early times, the idea of democracy in India did not appear suddenly. It developed through a long historical process. Ancient India had traditions of collective decision making. During the Vedic period, assemblies such as Sabha, Samiti, and Vidhata plays an important role in discussion and decision making. The king was not completely independent. He worked in consultation with assemblies, ministers, and officers. The Ekyamatya Suktam of the Rig Veda emphasizes collective thinking, shared discussion, unity of purpose, consultation, consensus, and shared responsibility. These ideas show that democratic values had deep roots in Indian thought. The Bauddha Sanghas established by Gautama Buddha also reflected democratic traditions. Members of the Sangha discussed matters, debating issues, selected leaders, and made discussion through voting. During British rule, people's participation in governance was limited. However, the Indian freedom struggle revived and strengthened the democratic ideas. Before independence, the Constituent Assembly was formed in 1946 to draft the Constitution. It took 2 years, 11 months, and 18 days to complete the Constitution. Principles of democracy. A strong democracy rests on certain essential principles. These principles help protect people's rights and prevent misuse of power. Popular sovereignty. Popular sovereignty means that the ultimate power lies with the people. The government gets its authority from the citizens. In a democracy, citizens elect their representatives through free and fair elections. Every citizen who is 18 years of age or above has the right to vote through a secret ballot. This right is called universal adult franchise. Through voting, people choose their government and can also change it if they are not satisfied with its work. Therefore, voting is one of the strongest ways through which people exercise their power in a democracy. Next, rule of law. Rule of law means that everyone is equal before the law and no one is above the law. Whether a person is rich or poor, powerful or ordinary, the law applies equally to all. The rule of law ensures equality before law. Every person is treated equally by law. Next, equal protection of law. People in similar situations are treated equally. Procedure established by law. No person can be punished without proper legal procedure. This principle prevents the misuse of power and protects citizens from unfair treatment. It also helps build trust in democratic institutions. Next, fundamental rights. The fundamental rights given in the Indian Constitution protect the freedom, dignity, and rights of citizens. They are enforceable in courts. There are 6 fundamental rights. First, right to equality, Articles 14 to 18. Second, right to freedom, Articles 19 to 22. Third, right against exploitation, Articles 23-24. Right to freedom of religion, Articles 25 to 28. Cultural and educational rights, Articles 29-30. Right to constitutional remedies, Article 32. If fundamental rights are violated, citizens can approach the courts. Articles 32 and 226 help citizens seek legal protection for their rights. The right to education, Article 21A, was added in 2009. It provides free and compulsory education to children aged 6 to 14 years. Next, separation of powers. In a democracy, power is divided among three organs of government. Legislature makes laws, executive implements laws, judiciary interprets laws and protects the constitution. This division is called separation of powers. It prevents the concentration of power in one organ of government. For example, Parliament can amend the constitution, but the judiciary can review amendments to check whether they follow the spirit of the constitution. If a law goes against the constitution, the judiciary can declare it unconstitutional. The judiciary is an independent and impartial institution. It protects citizens' rights and promotes justice. Tools like public interest litigation or PIL help people approach courts for issues related to public interest. Next, accountability and transparency. In a democracy, the government is accountable to the citizens. This means the government must explain its actions and decisions to the people. Accountability is maintained through elections, public debates, civil society participation, question hour in parliament, auditing of government accounts, Right to Information Act 2005. Transparency means that government work should be open and clear to citizens. The Right to Information Act 2005 allows citizens to seek information from government departments. This strengthens democratic governance. Next, multi-party system. India follows a multi-party system where many political parties contest elections. These parties represent different ideas, regions, communities, and interests. A multi-party system gives citizens more choices. In election to parliament or state assemblies, the party or coalition that gets more than 50% of the seats from the government, other parties form the opposition. Political parties in India work under rules given in the Representation of the People Act 1951. The multi-party system reflects the diversity of Indian society and allows different viewpoints to compete peacefully. Next, safeguarding the rights of vulnerable groups. A democracy must protect all communities, especially vulnerable and weaker sections of society. These may include people facing disadvantages because of caste, gender, region, poverty, or social background. Article 46 of the Constitution says that the state must promote the educational and economic interest of weaker sections, especially scheduled caste and scheduled tribes, and protect them from social injustice and exploitation. This shows that democracy is not only about voting, it is also about fairness, equality, and social justice. Next, role of media in democracy. The media plays a very important role in democracy. Newspapers, news channels, and social media platforms inform people about events and issues. Media helps democracy by informing citizens, raising public issues, giving voice to the people, questioning wrong actions, creating public awareness. Because of this important role, media is often called the fourth pillar of democracy. However, media must be used responsibly. Fake news and misinformation can confuse people and weaken democracy. Next, types of democracy. Democracy does not have only one form. Different countries practice democracy in different ways. First, direct democracy. In direct democracy, citizens directly participate in decision making. They vote directly on important issues. This system is difficult to follow in large countries. Example, Switzerland. Second, representative democracy. In representative democracy, people elect representatives who make decisions on their behalf. People do not govern directly. Example, India. Third, parliamentary democracy. In parliamentary democracy, the executive is responsible to the legislature. People elect the legislature and the government is formed from it. Examples, India and Canada. In India, the president is the head of state, while the prime minister is the head of government. Fourth, presidential democracy. In presidential democracy, the president is elected by the people and is independent of the legislature. Example, United States of America. Next, democracy in practice, India's living democracy. India's democracy is called a living democracy because people actively participate in democratic processes. India has nearly 100 crore voters. and elections are conducted across a huge and diverse country. Important features of India's living democracy include huge representation. On average, one member of parliament represents about 25 lakh people. Many languages, one election. Elections are conducted in 22 scheduled languages and other languages. Election symbols. These help voters, including those who cannot read, vote independently. Over 1 million polling stations. Polling stations are set up even in remote mountains, forests, deserts, and islands. Thousands of political parties. India has over 2,800 registered political parties. Indian democracy is strong because it includes people from different languages, religions, regions, and socio-economic backgrounds. Elections allow citizens to express their voice through the ballot. Next, three-tier system of government in India. India has a three-tier system of government. First, union government. Second, state government. Third, local government. Local government includes Panchayati Raj institutions in villages and municipalities in towns and cities. In some northeastern regions, autonomous district councils or ADCs protect tribal customs and traditions. The PESA Act 1996 gives special powers to Gram Sabhas in tribal areas. This system supports decentralization, meaning power is shared at different levels so that people can participate in local governance. Next, case study democracy at the grassroots in India. Grassroots democracy means democracy at the local level, especially in villages and local communities. First, Jethipura Gram Panchayat Gujarat. Jethipura Gram Panchayat in Gujarat received the Nanaji Deshmukh Rashtriya Gaurav Gram Sabha Puruskar in 2019. It showed good democratic functioning by conducting Gram Sabhas effectively, maintaining proper records, organizing special Gram Sabhas, taking action on education, sanitation, and welfare issues, conducting Mahila Sabhas, ensuring participation of scheduled caste, scheduled tribes, and women. This example shows how people's participation can improve village development. Second, South Manubankul Gram Panchayat Tripura. South Manubankul Gram Panchayat is known as a woman-friendly panchayat. It promotes women's participation in decision making, health and sanitation facilities, livelihood programs, self-help groups, implementation of government schemes, cleanliness, education, and social awareness. This panchayat shows that democracy becomes stronger when women and local communities actively participate. Next, women and the right to vote, the Indian experience. In many countries, women had to struggle for a long time to get voting rights. In Britain, women got full voting rights in 1928, and in the United States, women got voting rights in 1920. In India, women received the right to vote when the Constitution came into force in 1950. Universal adult franchise was given to both men and women without discrimination. This was a major achievement of Indian democracy. However, the chapter also reminds us that the right to vote does not automatically ensure equal participation. Social prejudices can still limit women's representation in politics. Next, women's reservation in local bodies. Women's active participation is important for democracy. The Constitution provides reservation for women in local bodies. Article 243D provides not less than one-third reservation for women in panchayats. However, 21 states and 2 union territories have provided 50% reservation for women in Panchayati Raj institutions. Article 243T provides not less than one-third reservation for women in municipalities. As of 2023, 17 states and 1 union territory have given 50% reservation for women in urban local bodies. This helps women participate more actively in decision making and local governance. Next, challenges to democratic practices in India. Democracy needs constant care, awareness, and responsible behavior. India has made great progress, but it still faces many challenges. Important challenges include illiteracy, misinformation and fake news, poverty, regionalism, gender inequality, social discrimination, misuse of social media, weak implementation of laws and policies, lack of public awareness, indifference towards public issues. Fake news is a major modern challenge. It can influence public opinion, create confusion, and sometimes cause conflict. Democracy becomes weak when citizens damage public poverty. Democracy becomes weak when citizens damage public property, spread misinformation, ignore public issues, or violate laws. Next, emergency. One of the biggest challenges to Indian democracy was the emergency of 1975 to 77. In the early 1970s, there was public dissatisfaction due to unemployment, inflation, and allegations of misgovernance. In June 1975, a national emergency was imposed on the ground of internal disturbance. During the emergency, many fundamental rights were suspended, press was censored, political leaders and activists were arrested, citizens' freedoms were restricted, democratic institutions came under pressure. Mass movements led by Jayaprakash Narayan, also known as Lok Nayak, mobilized students and citizens, especially in Bihar and Gujarat. The emergency ended in 1977 and general elections were held. The defeat of the ruling government showed the strength and resilience of Indian democracy. Next, democracy and you. Democracy is not only about government, it also depends on responsible citizens. Students can also contribute to democracy. Young citizens can strengthen democracy by reading newspapers and reliable news sources, using the internet responsibly, being media literate, understanding the constitution, following fundamental duties, respecting others' rights, participating in school and community activities, taking leadership roles, joining activities like NCC, NSS, and Bharat Scouts and Guides, protecting public property, respecting diversity and unity. A responsible citizen helps democracy remain strong and meaningful. Next, important keywords: democracy, a system of government in which people elect representatives and participate in decision making. Popular sovereignty, the idea that the ultimate power lies with the people. Universal adult franchise, the right of all citizens aged 18 and above to vote. Rule of law, no one is above the law, law applies equally to everyone. Fundamental rights, basic rights guaranteed by the Constitution. Separation of powers, division of power among the legislature, executive, and judiciary. Accountability, responsibility of the government to answer to the people. Transparency, openness in government work and access to information. Multi-party system, a system where many political parties contest elections. Civil society, voluntary groups, NGOs, and community organizations working in society. Federalism, sharing of power between central and state governments. Quorum, minimum number of members required for a valid meeting. PIL, public interest litigation, a legal action taken for public interest. RTI, Right to Information Act 2005, which allows citizens to seek information from the government. Emergency, a special constitutional situation under Articles 352, 356, and 360. Chapter summary: democracy is a system in which people are the source of power. It is based on freedom, equality, justice, participation, rights, duties, accountability, and transparency. India is the world's largest democracy with a huge voter base and a strong constitutional framework. The chapter explains that democratic ideas in India have deep roots in ancient traditions such as the Sabha, Samiti, Vidhata, early republican states, and Bodha Sanghas. These traditions encouraged discussion, consultation, and collective decision making. The chapter discusses the main principles of democracy, including popular sovereignty, rule of law, fundamental rights, separation of powers, accountability, transparency, multi-party system, and protection of vulnerable groups. It also explains the role of media as the fourth pillar of democracy. Different types of democracy are also explained, such as direct democracy, representative democracy, parliamentary democracy, and presidential democracy. India follows a representative parliamentary democracy. Indian democracy is described as a living democracy because of its huge scale, diversity, regular elections, and active participation of citizens. Grassroots examples from Jethipura Gram Panchayat and South Manubankul Gram Panchayat show that democracy is not limited to elections but also works through local participation. The chapter also highlights India's progressive approach to women's voting rights and reservation for women in local bodies. Finally, it discusses challenges such as fake news, inequality, poverty, gender discrimination, social discrimination, and the emergency of 1975-77. The main message of the chapter is that democracy survives and grows only when citizens are informed, responsible, active, and respectful of democratic values. So friends, we have completed notes and summary of chapter 6, democracy. We will do all the question answers of this chapter in a separate video. If you like the video, kindly like, hype the video and share it with your friends. Also subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon to receive new video notifications. We will meet in the next video. Thank you for watching.